My name's Frances Trimble. I am a quality manager in the quality department. I'm an American Indian. I refer to myself as Indigenous often, but I'm an enrolled member of the Rosewood Sioux tribe in South Dakota. My favorite family tradition is around holidays between Thanksgiving and Christmas. My family and I all watch all of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits, the extended versions, they're kind of just like constantly playing in the background. And whenever I'm feeling homesick, I'll always put that in the background and it'll just make me feel like very much more connected and closer to my family. My culture plays a huge part in how I view and how I think we should conduct ourselves as a community health center. In my culture, one of the ways that we end our prayers is we say Midakayasi, which means all my relations. And it really emphasizes this idea of interconnectedness. So for example, the way I think of myself is not just me, Frances, it is my family, it's my sister, it's my nephews, it's the grandbabies, it's all of it. It's my community and family friends, it's my cousins who aren't really my cousins, like it's all of us. And so that plays into how I view, how we treat our patients and how we interact with the community. So in my mind, when we talk about patients and communities and how we do outreach and how we provide services, in my mind it does go back, and how I conduct myself is like be a good relative, and that's to my community, even here to my friends and coworkers, it's be a good relative. And that's being somewhat accountable and being resourceful and helpful to those around you. So I think that my culture plays a huge role in how I view healthcare and how I think that we should interact with our patients and communities. I was always an advocate of representation matters, and I didn't realize how impactful that was until, honestly, I watched Reservation Dogs. I also would recommend everyone to watch it because it's a great TV series, and it's kind of the first time I've seen my lived experience on screen, and then seeing certain scenes that just are so relatable to my experience, and I've just never been able to see that before. And so I think same thing as as a patient myself that goes to that goes to a hospital or a healthcare center. Like if I had an Indigenous provider, I think I'd be so much more at ease. I'm full disclosure, I'm a terrible patient, but if I had, and I do notice this too when I've gone back and received services where I'm from, there are those aunties that are just like lecturing me, and honestly it works. I'm like, you're right, I need to be better out flossing, you're right. So I think that, representation does matter, especially when we know that specific groups of people do experience health disparities. Seeing someone that has lived experience similar to them, that can at least relate in some sense, and even if, because I noticed this here that, say for example, like I interact with someone who's like Hawaiian or like a Pacific Islander, I've had them be like, oh, like we're cousins basically, and it's just a very similar lived experience, and it's just nice to have that, and it puts you more at ease. So again, like representation does matter, and especially when we are talking about patients or groups of patients that experience health disparities. So that's why I think that Indigenous representation in healthcare is incredibly important.